Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And it kind of feels strange to upload a video. I've been streaming all day. We've done like 4 streams or so. It's been a crazy busy day for me, but still, I managed to find some time to go and actually stream in between things. It was rather fun though. Now, to start off here, Stefan shared this over on his Twitter. It's like jinxed. Why in the world does a whale want to sell their XRP at $1.12? The XRP price is kept deliberately low. Well, guys, I only have one question for you all, which is, do you believe that they are trying to manipulate the XRP price at points like this? Like, are they right now trying to keep the XRP price low? Yes or no? Please let me know your opinion in the comment section down below, and let's move on with this video. All right, I just saw this video here talking about Amazon and XRP. I think you guys must be having a couple of questions. First of all, no, I did not watch the video because I personally think I have enough knowledge to, get you guys updated on the situation. And well, what I know about Amazon and Ripple is basically that there's a partner of Ripple's, which is called DLocal, and basically they are working with a lot of different people. I mean, they literally work with Amazon and all the best freaking partners in the world. They work with literally everybody. Everybody you can think of, that's what they work with. And again, it's a Ripple partner. So apparently a long time ago, June, Ripple's client DLocal prepared to go public. People were really going crazy about it because of that IPO. It was basically called a really huge move for the company. And I mean, they're integrated with Shopify. It's now integrated with Amazon. It's literally everywhere. So I'm not really sure why he made an update on the situation. Maybe something went a little bit further. I mean, for example, they're expanding into Latin America, where Ripple has put up some emphasis, and I guess this company has too. For the rest, guys, it's been going on for a very long time, and I've updated you a ton of times on this channel. But that's one thing. I just had it open by accident and wanted to talk about it a little bit further. This I saw, Ripple vets unveil global retail micropayments network for Web 3.0. No idea in the world what this is all about. But apparently, a pair of ex-Ripple executives have brought their latest venture out of stealth, unveiling plans for a global micropayment network backed by blockchain tech. The only problem is, it says it's a brainchild of Richard Bell, a former Ripple, Visa, and Centenary executive, and Jeremy Light, who worked at Ripple and led Accenture's payment consulting business Europe. So it's 2 people who used to work for Ripple, and the thing is, I mean, they're not working there anymore, so this is just ex-employees of a company. It's like, yeah, ex-Uber employee starts a new thing. Okay, cool, he worked there, but it's not like it's an official thing anymore now. That's again why it's a Ripple veteran. They made a new company, but you really can't top Ripple. And I sometimes wonder as well, why would you leave? But apparently, it's called Ping and Pay. The startup plans to create a new category of high-frequency, low-value payments below $20 per transaction, aimed at unlocking new digital retail services, which will be at the center of the next development of the internet, Web 3.0. It's going to be interesting, I guess. All right, so about the title, about the thumbnail, what is going on, Dusty? What is going on? What's about to happen? What's the stuff? What's the juice? So I actually covered it in most of my live streams for today, but I get that a lot of you guys don't have like 4 hours a day to watch my streams back and just watch everything that's happened. So let me give you guys a brief overview. I have a notepad in front of me, which basically says what's about to happen tomorrow. It is Brad Garlinghouse getting deposed by the SEC. It is the SEC sending over their documents to the judge and Ripple partially. And it is Gary Gensler coming and speaking in front of Congress. The day afterwards is the SEC Sunshine Meeting. A lot of things happening at one point, huh? Of course, we also covered today some of the Ethereum BS, but let's start from the start. So what happened in the morning today? What were you talking about, Dusty? Well, if we look, the first thing I kind of referred to today was the price because, well, things were going down a little bit. People were scared. To be honest with you, it was mostly because of the Walmart situation now looking at it, because the price went down for just a normal Bitcoin retest, but the ups and downs today mostly had to do with Walmart coming into a fake partnership announcement with Litecoin. It was fake. Then again, somebody is impersonating me over on Instagram. You guys might want to, quickly report that account. We want to talk about what's going to happen to the price tomorrow. Well, it's because literally we went over all the points which I'm going over now in a more elaborate way, going over all the points separately, piece by piece, and figuring out things together. So if you want a really overviewed version, check this video out because we covered it. However, I missed a couple of points I think there because that's at the start of the day. And as the time moved on here, we saw more, for example, about the Gary Gensler questioning that's going to happen tomorrow. Some big whales, well actually only one, MicroStrategy came in to buy a lot of Bitcoin. Coinbase took their website down, the international website, which is basically where Coinbase was still promoting XRP. It's funny because if you look at the hashtag XRP, if I still have it open, no I do not. Well, if you look at the hashtag XRP over on Twitter, it was just filled, completely filled with Coinbase talks at the top, and well, they removed it because they got head or wind what was going on. So I also updated on that. Then here, this part is about Gary Gensler, as I said before, getting questioned tomorrow. Gary Gensler is going to get questioned on kind of his own accord because he's basically going to propose a couple of things to the Senate. Now, one of those things is basically some new changes to crypto. He wants to get a little bit extra power, basically. And we, of course, are not really liking that. We covered it in depth in one of the live streams earlier today. So if you want depth, make sure you check that video out too. Here you can see the entire Gensler testimony. If you scroll down, you'll find that one section on page 5 here is about crypto asset markets. And you can see exactly what his plan is in terms of what overview they think falls under the SEC, basically. They think that crypto exchanges, crypto everything, lending and whatnot, falls under the SEC's jurisdiction, which is going to be a really interesting point for tomorrow. Now, coming back to our earlier point of Garlinghouse being questioned tomorrow, one of the easiest ways to view that situation is to go to my, or actually anybody's Twitter for that matter. Go and type in James Fillon. And if you've looked him up, guys, which I've done 1,000 times before now, you know we've talked about this scheduling, right? And so the schedule, the way it's looking like, tomorrow you can see here the 14th is going to be the the back and forward, basically, between Ripple and the judge. Between the SEC and the judge. But most importantly, here on the right, you can see there's going to be a deposition of Brad Garlinghouse tomorrow on the 14th. And it's basically going to be the SEC questioning Brad Garlinghouse for freaking most likely like 12 hours long. And again, this part, which is also what we covered today, is where the SEC has to send Ripple and the judge a lot of the documents regarding Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP and the classification of such. Where the judge is going to do an in-video review of it and decide whether or not they're actually privileged. So once more, that is that. Then John Dean just shared this over on Twitter. Thanks, Jimmy. And one thing I want to quickly add here is I don't really know how you guys in the US use these naming things. So William and Bill are the same. James and Jimmy are the same. Because I remember when I was younger watching Jimmy Neutron on television, they sometimes used to call their kid James as well. I think his name is Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah. And they call him James sometimes, or Jimbo. How in the world does James and Jimmy... Why does he keep saying thanks, Jimmy? And sometimes people use Bill and sometimes use William. It's so strange to me how Bill can be, William can be the full thing and Bill can be the smaller version, the abbreviation. But that's besides. You're right about the informal investigation. What I was basing my knowledge on is that from April 6th, hearing when Dugan Bliss said that at the time of the June 14, 2008 speech, Rip was under investigation. The timing of the investigation is interesting. And that's actually because one of the things we also discussed today was how right now one of the questions that's popping up is when exactly did Ripple start investigating when exactly did the SEC start investigating Ripple? And that can be key for determining, of course, the fair notice part, but also how things with Ethereum tie together. Right now, what John Deaton and all these guys over on Twitter are really doing is hammering in on the facts that Ethereum had some specialized privileged treatment, and we're trying to really point it out with dates and everything like that. So it's getting really, really close to a good conclusion. But in one of the streams today, we really mostly went over what John Deaton's thought process was and the current situation of Ether and the way that was handled. Really, really beautiful day today in terms of that news, guys. It was really, really juicy. Now, before we move on, guys, if you haven't pressed the like button yet, you don't have to. But it does help the channel out. And if you forgot about it, right now is your best time because, again, it helps the video perform a little bit better in the YouTube algorithm. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't give me any money. It's just a little helpful thing to press. I think, why not, right? Why not? So please, guys, help the channel out. And a little couple of, shameless promos. My Instagram, the DustTBC. Make sure you check it out. Telegram, I made 2 channels. One is kind of a group. So it's literally a group where you can just chat with me and all the boys and girls that are in there. And there's a channel, which is basically a notification 2.0. A lot of you guys complain that you get no notifications for my YouTube videos or live streams. So I made this channel over on Telegram so you guys are sure to get every time that I post something a notification in there. Sometimes you will not get one because I'm sleeping, so you're going to get it a couple hours later. If I schedule a video, for example, like an hour after I go to bed already. But if I ever go live, you will definitely get a notification in here, so you will never miss those live streams again. Once more, the alerts, I have to set up a bot that does it automatically, but I don't know how, because again, I'm not that savvy. All right, now we go over into some of the more normal news. There's a ton of it, and it's really freaking cool. First of all, more than 65% of South Korean crypto exchanges to shut down once the FSC deadline hits. This could result in huge investor losses as user loss access to about 42 local altcoins. Currently, Polkadot, XRP, ADA, and Cosmos Atom are leading cryptos on the 4 top legit exchanges in the country. And, well, the majority of South Korean crypto exchanges are all set to be closed this month, which is going to wipe out a ton of money as 2/3 of the exchanges shut down, according to the report from the Financial Times. Earlier last week, the Financial Services Commission, a financial monitoring agency in South Korea, issued a press release stating that they held an online meeting with virtual asset service providers to discuss the requirements related to the September 24 deadline to register their business with the government. For VASP, that are planning to operate a virtual asset trading platform, but are now planning to offer Korean-based or other fiat currency-based exchange services, the authorities advised them to terminate their fiat currency-based exchange services without delay by the September 24th registration deadline. So how this is going to turn out, I really do wonder, but it's pretty crazy over in South Korea right now for that matter. Then the U.S. Treasury Department officials discuss risks and benefits posed by stablecoins with players from financial industry. So of course we have partially got the talk of the day, right? Which is going to be that Gary Gensler is going to, come in front of the audience tomorrow. But on the other end, you guys should understand, at the end of September here, the House, I believe, the Senate, is going to start talking about, the infrastructure bill with crypto inside of it. But right now, as we speak, they're also thinking about what task force exactly should do what. And Gary Gensler's part is going to be extremely valuable in that. He said that he wants to work together with the CFTC and others to protect investors, which, again, if he says it like that, I firmly agree. The SEC, the CFTC, and most likely the Office of the Controller of the Currency, maybe even FinCEN, should all come together and basically, for example, get one person from each and make a good task force under Biden, right? Fine. Problem is, at least as it currently stands, the SEC wants to go over all these things and leave a couple of crypto things which are not mentioned here for others, like maybe futures for the CFTC. This should all be shared because the SEC only has control in the United States, only over securities, and not over all the things we should try to mention, like, for example, stablecoins here. Stablecoins aren't by definition a security because, again, think about it. If the value will always stay stable, then there's no expectation of profit. So how can that be a security if it's literally something that's supposed to stay at the exact same value, right? Theoretically speaking, it should actually go down in value because if it's tied to the US dollar, for example, with inflation, theoretically speaking, the price, the purchasing power should keep going down. So from that perspective, I don't really get that. So I'm thinking they should come up with a better system for it. But then again, think about it from another perspective too, right? Treasury and everywhere around the US, they're thinking about how to handle this stuff because there's too much money that they're missing and they're trying their best to get it back. Now, from one front to another, which we basically didn't cover earlier, is that Bitcoin exchange reserves are the lowest in 3 years. The question is, what does it mean for the price? Usually it is bullish, even though the narrative right now is a little bit bearish. Every time that the exchange reserves go this low, it usually is a bullish thing. Now, one thing to kind of discredit that argument is that when it was at the lowest point, that was basically when the end of this big run was abound. But usually, again, once the reserves goes down, the price goes up because less money on exchanges means people can sell less. That's the long and short of it. Now, Coinbase announces proposed private offering of $1.5 billion. Undeterred by the notice from the US SEC, Coinbase announced yesterday that it would be raising $1.5 billion through a debt offering. Fun fact, if Coinbase just went for a IPO, they could have gotten all this money. But no, they wanted a direct listing to sell all their shares because they made more money that way, and right now they're in need for money, which is rather funny, but that shows the deceptive practices happening over in Coinbase, if you were to ask me, or the very, very smart accounting that they've done. I personally don't know exactly which one to call out for, but it's definitely kind of shady by Coinbase's part. Then one thing to quickly intervene here and say, a couple of you guys have been asking me what I think about Coinbase and Ripple working together in the Ripple v. SEC lawsuit. The long and short about that one is it will be amazing because First of all, if XRP is deemed a security, Coinbase is going to have so many troubles to fix. It's going to be really annoying for them. So it will be better if they just help from the get-go. That's one point. But, at least in my opinion, more importantly, is what the future is looking like if they really come to a conclusion together and start working on this. They can basically disprove a lot of the SEC's arguments, and from that point forward, I think a lot can be built if they work together and to basically show solidarity. They can show the SEC that they're trying to overreach and that the people, the community, and the billions of dollars back in Coinbase and whatnot don't stand for it. Then again, the negative part is that Coinbase just got public and whatnot. They can't really risk working together with Ripple and then Ripple losing the lawsuit. So they'd have to be really sure that they win. Then again, I think if Coinbase has their back, there's no way they would lose, right? There's just no way. If, for example, Coinbase can also help point out that none of the people who bought on their platform bought from Ripple directly, and none of them, or at least a lot of them, might have never had a connection with Ripple in any way, shape, or form. They might have not known it exists. Yeah, that could actually be really juicy. All right, we also kind of talked about this one with the House just now, but it has multiple parts. The House Democrats want to close crypto tax loophole. That's also something that's happening in the background of things. Democrats want to apply the wash sale rule to crypto. And again, I'm not really too familiar with all your U.S. laws over in there, so I'm not going to try to spend too much time on it. But if you want to know about it, once more, you got the sources now. You can press pause for a little second and kind of read into it. I'm going to wait until we get some more conclusions for right now, though, because once more, it's kind of vague, it's kind of not sure. It's all about taxes, but then again, we don't know exactly who decides it at the end of the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, we're getting the first glimpse of what or how they plan to pay for their huge infrastructure project, which will cover everything from healthcare to climate change. And the House Democrats are proposing a $2 trillion money needed from tax increase, with $16 billion derived from adding crypto and other assets to the wash sale rule. If you've ever sold crypto in the US, you're likely aware that these count as taxable events. If the Bitcoin, Ether, or other crypto you cash out has been in your wallet for more than a year, those earnings are taxed as long-term capital gain. If you had it for less than a year, you get short-term, which is higher. By the same token, so to speak, if your portfolio loses value, you claim a loss and earn a deduction on your taxes. But what if you sell some crypto, watch the price drop, and buy back for less? Right now, the IRS doesn't have the tools to mitigate this practice, which, when done in large volumes, can manipulate the price. Which, again, that's kind of what they're trying to get this loophole out of the way, because if you're basically messing up a little bit in that regard, you might actually get a lot of favorable, basically solutions from that, and they want to kind of close that down, which is really interesting. There's definitely a couple of ways to cheat the system, though, thinking about it. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that today. All right, and then the SEC plan for Bitcoin ETFs is like favoring one child over another by the Grayscale CEO. Michael Sonnenheim says that the SEC's apparent position on ETFs tied onto Bitcoin futures is inconsistent with previous comments. And one of the fun facts about that is that a cool little idea. Jake Clayton was really bearish, basically, on some of these crypto ETFs. Yet later on, basically turned into a ETF issuer, which is rather funny, rather a very interesting situation. Grayscale CEO suggested that SEC's likely plans for a Bitcoin ETF are misguided. The unease stems from his concern that an ETF tied to the futures market will be costly and expensive. And a little fun fact, I don't really know exactly how this works. Why would the SEC be completely behind this? I sometimes don't know exactly. I mean, I get that the SEC should be behind ETFs in the usual space, but then again, for crypto, it just feels as if the SEC has too much power in this area, and they're trying to diminish as much as possible for what the crypto space can do, so they don't lose power, don't lose value in that sense. I feel as if a lot of these things like Bitcoin ETFs or Ethereum ETFs should have been here a long time ago if you wanted the space to be safe, right? And just oversightable and easy. But no, they have really strange tactics for this, which is, I guess, my own conclusion. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you press the like button and potentially subscribe to the channel. If you want notifications, make sure you press the button on, but I still recommend you guys to just join the alerts Telegram because that's your easiest way to get updates almost every single time I upload something. If you want a group to chat in, you have Discord and you have Telegram nowadays, so that might be cool. And my Instagram, again, that's up to you if you want to follow that. See you guys again in another crypto video. Hopefully you guys understand by now what's about to happen tomorrow, and take care.